I guess I'll start by saying hashtag free Binder. I want to make sure everyone knows about that. I don't really know a good starting off point, because we could probably talk about this for hours in terms of a petulant man-child turned dictator taking over a social media platform and what effects that has. But it really seems like yesterday his divorce energies had probably peaked. I didn't think we could max saturation, but they've exceeded levels previously untold. These are levels of divorce I didn't think were scientifically possible, but here we are. And,
astronomical levels of divorce. He is flooding the zone with divorce vibes.
And as he's assuming his final form, it seems he's very easily upset and has very thin skin. And I cannot for the life of me understand why anyone would almost pay, I would say, close to double the amount of a value of a company if you are scared of becoming the main character every single day. It seems like a strange, nightmarish creation, like an HP Lovecraft torture device that only one could make if he were the richest human being on the planet. Sorry, I know that doesn't answer your question. So last night was what I'm and many other people are calling the Purge. There was a series of very prominent reporters who have been critical of Elon Musk, who one after the other had their accounts suspended, including, of course, the majority reports, Matt Binder. And I'm not going to steal his thunder. He's always got his own personal stories to tell, especially about safety to his own family, that I'm sure he'll explain in detail when he comes on. But the accusation coming from Musk is that he had his flight information was tracked by an account called Elon Jet, which used what is considered public information that tracks flight logs to be able to tell people where they're going. Elon Musk had arrived and claimed that because the account had shown in real time where his location was, that someone actually attacked his vehicle and jumped on his car while his children were in the vehicle at the time. Now, the LAPD released a statement saying that no criminal charges have been filed. This is where things get tricky, and this is where we might go in little Alex Jones territory here, but at this moment, as close as I can tell, the reason Matt Binder has been taken off the platform is that he, as well as some other people, were reposting the LAPD statement. That was the last tweet that I saw Binder post before he got roasted. And that LAPD statement obviously looks a little bit bad to Elon Musk, who's claiming that he was directly attacked by an individual. And they're saying, well, we're looking into it, but as of now, no criminal charges have been laid.
But in terms of public information, are LAPD statements under lock and key? Are they personal information about some people? Or, I mean, I'm being a bit cheeky here, but they did not. What he essentially said, what Musk said, is that he's going to ban accounts that post his real-time location. I mean, sure. But then he banned accounts that were posting a police report pertaining to his real-time location, which did not dox him in real time. And that is obviously newsworthy, certainly falls under the category of what a journalist can cover ethically. And so we are in a very precarious situation here where, I had this thought earlier, because you read about how he essentially has given Bari Weiss access to the Twitter. She has a badge. She's been coming in. She's been able to look through people's files as a part of this Twitter files wet fart of an expose, which isn't really an expose. And they're very similar people. Both are free speech champions as a part of their branding. But in reality, Bari Weiss became a prominent figure in media by advocating for the censorship of pro-Palestinian and Arab professors. That was what catapulted her to prominence. Now, Elon Musk is rebranding himself as Tesla's stock begins to dip, and as we see other car companies basically doing what Tesla does, but better with electric vehicles like Mercedes and Porsche, and building luxury vehicles that are electric, and they're coming down the pike soon enough. He's getting desperate, needs to rebrand himself as a free speech warrior, and then he bans people who say things or repost things that he disagrees with. They are really just twins, the two of them.
I don't know if anyone saw this, but Barry Weiss actually outflanked Glenn Greenwald when it came to free speech advocacy. Because right now, Glenn Greenwald is doing what I assumed he was going to mock everybody involved, especially the corporate liberal journalists. But I didn't think he was going to be this malicious. But Glenn is basically trying to take the angle of, you reap what you sow. I'm not going to take the high road. Enjoy this, liberal censorship advocates. Whereas Barry's like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this was the best call. This is still a form of censorship. I don't fully stand behind you, Elon. In terms of what's actually causing people to get banned, I mean, I don't think it's beyond the pale to suggest that it's people mocking Elon Musk at this point. From the very start that Elon Musk took over and he had that disastrous introduction of the Twitter Blue program where you could spend $8 to basically become any major corporation for a day and then say the worst things possible, which is just unbelievably amazing. He brought comedy back to Twitter. At that moment, people who were impersonating Elon Musk were the first ones to get roasted, like almost instantaneously. It took seconds. So, as much as I want to say that this is a case of Elon Musk enforcing laws or rules, which, if we're also being clear, these rules should apply directly to libs at TikTok. He's describing libs at TikTok. That's what libs at TikTok is. Who posts the location data of someone in real time? An event, a teacher, a hospital, a doctor, a professor. Here is their location. Here is their address. Here's their email. Here's their phone number. They are molesting children. These are pedophiles. These are groomers. Do something about it. And then, lo and behold, the same day, stochastic terrorism occurs, where a whole bunch of people are calling in bomb threats or death threats or all this kind of stuff. He's describing a rule that should apply very strictly to an account that, as we now know from the Twitter files, is protected. So,
well, let's talk about libs of TikTok then, because as you say, this account, which is a hate account that doxes regular people, has put out people's employment information, addresses, and called them groomers and pedophiles under the guise of some sort of, I don't know, reporting, but really it is a hate account that is trying to target trans and queer people throughout the country. And not the richest man on earth by posting where his private plane lands. I would imagine he has some security that makes him a bit okay. Teachers, regular people, just trying to live their lives. That's what this account does. Shouldn't that be in violation of the very rules that he has said that Twitter is in their bylaws at this point?
I mean, you would think that. The thing with libs of TikTok is that I want to get ahead of this because I get a lot of pushback from the right who say, oh, you don't like having cringe compilations. It's just people in their own words. What's the problem? The libs of TikTok, Chaya is just exposing libs being cringe. And if it was just libs being cringe, I would have no issue with it. There's 1,000 cringe compilation YouTube channels, TikTok accounts. Have at it. Enjoy the cringe. Enjoy the 2016 SJW screaming because Trump won a million times over. It'll never get stale, right? It's the funniest meme in the world. Keep using it. It's the fact that she adds pedophile, groomer to it, right? Like, this is a teacher who may go there and like, I'm non-binary, I use they them pronouns. That's the clip. And then it'll be like grooming children, specific example. I'm just like, no, this is not what grooming is. You're trying to redefine what grooming is, and it's very dangerous. This is a time-honored tradition to vilify and attack LGBTQ plus people. It's been done generation after generation. We can even Godwin's Law this. The Nazis used to do this, right? Like, you know how Tucker Carlson is like, just another day in Weimar. What he's referencing is, prior to the Nazis coming into power, yes, they targeted LGBTQ plus people. They burnt a gender research facility / school down to the ground. Yep. They labeled the person who ran it as one of the most dangerous Jews in Germany. These are time-honored tactics of trying to associate queer folk with pedophilia and grooming, and it's disgusting. And I think, if anything, what the Twitter files revealed was that libs of TikTok, despite the danger that she clearly posed to hospitals, teachers, doctors, etc., she was still being protected. The account still had "do not terminate" on the very top without speaking to the highest levels of security because of the implications of actually deleting an account of that size.
I mean, and you just need to see the trends of who is being reinstated and who is being banned. You have Baked Alaska, white supremacists being reinstated. You have the guy who writes is the head of the Daily Stormer. I'm blanking on his name. What's it, Bradley?
Andrew Anglin.
Andrew Anglin being reinstated, but Keith Olbermann, Aaron Rupar, who's just a dude who who's a lib who reposts like
cable news.
Yeah, cable news being banned, and Matt Binder and stuff like that. I mean, and then we're talking about free speech here. This is a moment where one of the major online communications platforms has been hijacked and immediately tilted in a way where it's beginning to become a right-wing propaganda vehicle.
Flooded with neo-reactionaries, neo-Nazis, alt-right accounts, all the old ones from yonder. I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, Emma, I love free speech. I'm for it. I love the marketplace of ideas, where the highest level ideas, right? So, like, all that, I'm all for it. That's why Twitter is kind of unique. If I wanted a like Mastodon, safe space, I would have joined a forum or something like that. Like, I enjoy the ability that Twitter gave me to be able to battle in the mud, with a lot of people that I disagree with. The thing is, though, when they brag about, say, the First Amendment is in place to protect the press from the government passing legislation that would limit their speech. That's the purpose of it. That's the entire point, and that's beautiful. You should have that. It's necessary to free and open democracy to be able to criticize your leaders. You should be able to make fun of Joe Biden, call him corn pop or whatever you want, and not worry about your door getting kicked in or something like that because you've done it, right? In case of this is exactly what I think people on the left have always been describing as the problem with monopolies under capitalism. These are dictatorships. They always have been. It was a dictatorship before Elon Musk, and they just ran it as a business. It's a dictatorship under Elon Musk, and he's running it as a playground. In both cases, the problem is the corporate dictatorship dictating the thing that controls the public forum and the speech. That's the issue. Doesn't matter if Elon Musk is showing everybody that the meritocracy isn't real. Doesn't matter if it's Jack Dorsey trying to make it as both sanitary and advertiser friendly at the same time as he wants. It's the same problem.
Yeah. If they really go down this road of subscription model, then it's very much over. It's like, could not be more over. It's democratizing, but here you can only get into this if you pay $8.
I also just want to bring up, like, there's this thing that, like, the Silicon Valley puppets, Barry Weiss and those sorts of folks are doing to try to. She says the old regime is governed by its whims the old regime at Twitter governed by its own whims and biases, and it sure looks like the new regime has the same problem. I oppose it in both cases. The
new regime, she's literally in the fucking offices, right?
But I'm sorry,
regime.
This idea that the old moderation decisions were at all comparable to this sort of stuff, I think, is ludicrous. And like, who should be making these decisions? That's like Michael Schellenberger ended his sort of thread on that. And I think like it should be the employees of Twitter should be more empowered than like a new boss who bought the thing. And it's difficult when you start like sort of firing everybody at all. But like when these moderation decisions happen, like, to me, it's interesting to zoom in and see like what's actually happening in that company. Like when the Trump and Facebook thing, for instance, a lot of the employees wanted to retaliate or discipline Trump for saying when the looting starts, the shooting starts. And Zuckerberg's like, I don't want to do that. And it was a staff problem. And so like that's like, we never really focus on that part of it. Like what workers are being forced by bosses to like carry certain speech. Like, look, I think like workers should support like Lance said, the free exchange of ideas. But I also think like when they decide to put their foot down about what's going out on their platform that they're helping to produce, I think that's where it's more interesting to me. And that is completely obscured for talk of like, oh, is the government actually forcing these social networks to do this? It's like, that's too simplistic of a way to look at these.
And this is how you can tell they're authoritarian, is because they pretend that a billionaire coming in and making unilateral decisions about content is democracy. But what happened before, and that's what the Twitter files exposed, were complex deliberations between employees who were trying to make decisions based on their terms of service about whether a guy like Trump, who they were very reluctant to ban, would remain on their platform.
Or like libs at TikTok, who the Twitter files showed us had a mark on their account saying, hey, you know how you would normally moderate people who is doing this stuff? Actually, don't do that and levitate this to people above. I mean, that's the most damning thing about these entire revelations, and it's the opposite emphasis to the ones that these people want to present.
We should also point out just the like rank and file hypocrisy that is going on right now. Like, it really does come down to, this was never about free speech. They thought that Twitter was run by a bunch of like, I don't know, pink-haired SJW elves who were just, controlling everything and trying to censor every single right-wing belief. And at the end of the day, what it really came down to was that they were running it like a business. They were doing that fine balance between, we want to kind of have as much free speech as we can, but we also want to create a advertiser-friendly, safe experience. This is the weird, dance that we do. It's very complex, it's difficult, but that's what we're trying to do. And as soon as Elon came in, it's like, well, this is basically if it was a lot more transparent that just one person is focusing on what offends him. Like he paid $44 billion to become the head mod of a website. That's what really happened.
Right.